An ISA, or an individual savings account, is something you've probably all heard of. They're utilised a lot by the young to buy their first home with you. That helps to buy an ISA or the leaser. But here's the thing, there's another one, and if used right, it is greatly more powerful than any of the other ones. But before I talk about that, you need to understand what an ISA actually is. Now, there's a lot of confusion behind this, but essentially, it's a wrapper. Right, now on to the next part of the video. Okay, just kidding, but this is what you need to know. So these are my chocolates. I've worked extremely hard to get these chocolates, and I want to keep them. However, every year I bring in 2, I get 1 taken away from me. So this is what I'll do. So what I'll do is I'll grab some cling film from Costco and essentially I'll pop this over. Now this is protected. No one's going to touch it, and no one can touch it because it's in a wrapper. So essentially the cling film is the ISA. It stops the taxman from taking your chocolate eggs, as in the same as it stops the taxman taking your money. Essentially, an ISA is a wrapper that allows you to protect your assets, cash, investments, etc. from the taxman. And that's why they're so powerful. See, in the UK, tax eats up a lot of your hard-earned money. And it's not just income tax and national insurance. There's a couple of them. Income tax, national insurance, sugar tax, value-added tax, stamp duty, capital gains. Trust me, I can keep going. And guess what? Even saving your hard-earned money in a pension that you could have been working towards for the last 40 years, it gets taxed. And this is the problem the ISA solves. But there's an ISA more powerful than them all. And this is the stocks and shares ISA. And very simply, this is what it does. It allows you to store all of your investments in one of these wrappers, which protects you from capital gains tax, income tax, and will give you a tax-free dividend allowance of £2,000. And you can hold whatever investments you want in here. It's important to note that you have an annual allowance of £20,000, which means you can only put a maximum of 20 grand in each year. But let me show you where it really shines. See, if I'm investing in the S&P 500 index fund, which is a collection of the 500 largest US companies on the US stock market, its average year-on-year return is around 10%. Or in the last 30 years, its year-on-year average was around 11.98%, but let's say 10% for argument's sake. Now, this doesn't mean that every year you're going to get 10%. It just means that some years you might get 20% and other years you might not. But on average, let's say 10%. So let's say you put £100 per month in this ISA until retirement, tracking the S&P 500. Let's say over 40 years or so. This will now be your total. And if you reinvest dividends, this is all tax-free, meaning the taxman isn't going to touch a penny and it's all yours to take home. Now let's say you're a little bit more determined and you decide to put £400 per month, and let's say you started the account with £1,000. This is now your return. Now theoretically, once this account hits 200,000, you could potentially retire, but that's for another video. So what do the wealthy do that we simply don't? Well, very simply, they utilize these tools. They know about them and they learn how to use them. So if you don't want to end up like the troll from Harry Potter, please hit the like button and subscribe. The question now remains, how can you do it yourself? And it's actually very simple. If you're from the UK, you can simply go onto the internet and set one up. There are loads of different brokers that will open this account, including some banks. The two most trusted sources in the investment community would be Hargreaves Lansdown and Vanguard though. It's best to compare them to see what works with you. Now this is only part of the formula. In fact, one of the others is learning how the wealthy save their money, and more importantly, know not to buy into certain things. It's an essential part as it will allow you to build money, to put money into tools like this. And learning the basic building blocks is the most important thing to building wealth. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button. Anyways, until next time, have a good day.